Prime Gaming Agent Select. And what do we have here in the composition?
Well, that's it. KRU hasn't changed anything, but although with this composition, they're still looking pretty good in their own region, right? When I was looking back at the stats of how they played in Stage 2, qualifying into here, it's still an 8-1. But you're playing against Team Liquid that they themselves have been unstoppable on this very map until they had to face off against version 1. And although for Team Liquid, we talk about outdated compositions for KRU, it's not necessarily outdated for Team Liquid, but they're still putting a lot of good use on to Link with this Omen. So to set up right now a Jet with an Omen with a heavy execute on the A site, it could actually still work with these two teams. It's just you're getting a little bit less now that Team Liquid also has Scream on the Phoenix to add a little bit more flash assist into these heavy hits. So he was definitely the player to look out for in the first map. For KRU, they have to look out for a way to stop him from building up these run it backs for these heavy hits for Team Liquid on this attack.
Yeah, Phoenix, really great agent on Ascent. We'll talk more about that as we now go into the pistol. Round 1, map 2 between Team Liquid and KRU. Team Liquid starting off on the attack this time. And a drone will spot a couple players in mid, actually, as Liquid make their way up catwalk.
Heavy presence, Dan. They're looking for a lot of stuff here towards this mid side with the utility. And just on the A side, they're playing the more passive play possible, the retake. But Yampi already cancels the whole kit from Killjoy of Klaus on A.
Yeah, that's a great pickup and a frustrating moment for KRU. As you say, Klaus would have been quite useful in delaying things. Liquid will be set up on the side. It is a pistol round, so
yeah,
anything can happen here still. We've got the Paranoia available for Delsic as well on this retake. Oh, Yampi, nice timing there. I don't think BNJ expected that at all. These small maneuvers here from Yampi have been very difficult to deal with, and get that one way there as well, making life even more hard. And you can see the counter coming through with the Cloud Burst, and Scream goes straight into it. Out he goes to try to see if he can find any of these opponents who are coming onto the site now. KRU trying to get something going here, but it is simply too much to deal with as Liquid take it home for round one. They of course already have map 1.
Hey, they took map 1 home too. You're pretty much halfway there, Dan, so it's okay. but I gotta say, Yampi, you talked about it before too in our pregame or getting into the series. It's very important on how you could basically stop Team Liquid of how good they could be with their timings. And that timing for Yampi, just a dash into that tree site to catch Klaus off guard, get into heaven to catch out the rotation, even an off angle on the third at the bottom of the catwalk for the post plant for Team Liquid. He's going to be one guy that could mess you up definitely on these timings and maybe even cancel any type of kit you're trying to do.
Well, that aggression has been completely dealt with. Not too much left in the tank here on this eco round for KRU. Just a couple pistols.
I think there was a Paranoia invested at the same time too, right, from Delzik, so they were trying to go for this type of like smoke entrance. Very old school at the same time too, but sometimes when you try to play these old school plays and it's been a while since it's been used, it can catch your opponents off guard. Just unfortunately, you're playing against Yampi's Judge, who adds up another triple.
It is an amusing point, actually. Like, the fact that you can say old school setup when the game's been out only a year, it just really speaks to how quickly the meta moves in Valorant compared to other games. The amount of like metas that we have had already is just kind of astounding.
Just on the stage itself right now, right? As the meta evolves, but it's still very semi-different from region to region. So it's still very interesting. It's still very fun to watch how this all unravels on Masters 2, on the Masters 2 stage, and see that how the debate is going to finish. Can you actually confirm that it's still going to be a European setup that's going to win it all, or a North American that's going to win it all, or even Neutron now with Korea's meta, if that's going to be the one that's going to win it all? And I even feel that after this tournament, that conversation is still not going to end until we even reach Masters 3.
Definitely. I look forward to it. And we're going to be in our first buy round here. That said, it is a bonus from Liquid. You can see him. In fact, the Link is still on a Ghost even.
Very confident at this point right now with their bonus. So I mean, he's going to be the one carrying the spike at the same time. You see the L drone working up towards this mid, but right now with Yampi only having a judge and they have these specters, I think it's just to create noise, create a diversion, and try to work where they can work into the close range battles. Maybe towards that pizza close range, but then fall back on Catwalk. We'll see what happens then here for Team Liquid, as it seems as though Catwalk is going to be the play.
You know, I like what KRU are doing. They're playing a retake setup on A. Just they want to maintain tree control, as that you can't really give this up and have a strong retake. So as long as you keep that, if the opponents take the A site, it's okay, because they'll only have the A site and A main to work from. So it's one of the reasons why teams try to put a lot of emphasis on at least holding a tree. And right now you can see Liquid, there's lots of, or rather, sorry, KRU, there's lots of movement. They're not entirely sure what's going on. Liquid are playing so slow. A lot of movement.
They had to recon at the beginning too to force them back from Team Liquid onto KRU at the back of tree with the smoke, so very good to get into the site. We're playing the retake now for KRU.
There we go, there's that Phoenix wall. Lots of good applications for that on this map. Spike planted on the A site here for Team Liquid. Again, working with a judge, a few specters, and a ghost. This will be a huge round for them to win if they're able to do so. That's a great first pickup though for KRU. That's Yampi down. That's the Blaze Storm gone as well. Broadcast ready with that recon darts. And in goes the Paranoia as KRU try to charge this A site down. Link's actually made his way back through the smoke there, near the side of door, and could have a nice little flank timing coming in here. Deals with Mazzino, and that's going to cause problems right now because time is of the essence here. Link still creating a delay, still in this position. They have to stick it. I don't know if there's actually time for this one. It's going to be a close defuse here coming through for KRU, and they're going to make it work.
Wow.
Down to the last seconds, but it is a KRU round.
And that all came down to if KRU actually were losing a couple of more 1v1 inside the A side, it would have definitely been winnable there for Link. For him to be able to squeeze through, what, 2 or 3 defenders coming in towards that doorway side through his own door cover, but also 2 Cloudbursts set down by Nagzet on that rotation was a very scary task there. Actually, I was clenching if I was a fan from KRU, because at that point, that backstab that he had onto Mazzino was actually quite huge, but thankfully, he got taken down. So it looks like we do have a pause coming in right now. Not sure if it's going to be a timeout right away, but at the same time, it's a good way to calm things a little bit because, like we just mentioned here, Dan, it was a bonus round for Team Liquid. Link only had a Ghost. Yampi had a Judge and Blade Storms, and they almost still won that round to a 2v1. So they did hurt the economy of KRU a lot here. Nagzet's going to have to play with a Judge, and we'll see what they'll have for the rest of the round.
Yeah, I completely agree. It will be quite difficult. Lots of pressure on KRU to convert this next buy round, as they are, economically speaking, really in a pretty desperate place. No reserves available. Will be on an eco, I believe, if they full buy and lose. So Liquid definitely with the money control here, and the question, though, is that, you know, what do KRU want to do against Liquid? Because I'm sure they've done some studying. There's certainly plenty of VODs available for KRU to see what Team Liquid's tendencies are like when they're playing the attack. Because if you're KRU, you may want to play aggressively on A main. If you have setups for that, maybe you want to take B main control. There's lots of different approaches you can have on a map like Ascent. Unlike Split, where it's much more, it feels much more limited.
I think it starts off pretty well of how they counter out how Team Liquid wants to take mid control in the beginning, because one of the main defaults that you see, not just for Team Liquid, but having a Sova in general on Ascent, is that you throw an Owl Drone right off the get-go onto that mid side. So B&J playing towards market, and as he's always playing towards B side, for him to throw an Owl Drone back is a great way to counter it in the end. But Team Liquid, they like to go for these heavy hits on the A side. They like to go for splits at the A side too, just enabling the recon dart and the split from Yampi combo into this tree side. So to try to fight back on that area, they have the numbers advantage going on there too. So the setup is actually not so bad. It's only 2-1 so far, and they've also won here into the bonus round that Team Liquid had. So I think they're still on a good spot, at least to kick off this game.
I like what KRU did here at the opening. Isorb on B main, used the dark cover as well. That prevented Liquid from taking control there, and Liquid instead pressured mid. So in that sense, you know, KRU have a fairly good feel of the map right now. And a timely Dark cover comes through to short as well. So again, KRU know exactly what's going on. Scream pops to run it back. There goes the curveball through the dark cover. Oh, can't quite find the frag though. That was close. BNJ survives. Liquid continue the press onto the A site. And that's the spike now planted here for Liquid. But again, it's this game of post-plant positioning. Cryptics will delay things with the nano swarms. And they surely know, KRU, they surely know about Scream. And indeed, they'll deal with Scream before Soulcast can do anything about it. Soulcast, though, through the smoke, able to find one. The trades are coming through, though. KRU looking pretty good on this retake. Time is a problem. We do get that lockdown coming in as well. That's going to send Link back further, deeper into A main. The TP comes through, and KRU are going to take him down to get the defuse in the bag. Beautiful retake. In fact, from the beginning of the round, Vansili,
exactly,
just KRU played everything really well.
Exactly. So sometimes you see that Team Liquid, the heavy hits, as I was talking about before. Sometimes they even throw the run it back from the A-man instead. But to have Screen go through the tree this way, how did they set it up? You had a turret coming in from the defender side from Klaus, all the way from the A site, looking down that area, an alarm bot with a nano swarm. And not only that, they already had 4 players on the A site playing passive, getting ready for a push right after, so that if they surrender their site, they have a lockdown, they could protect the lockdown, and they push back into it. So as we just mentioned here, Dan, they're actually reading this game quite well for KRU. The firepower is starting to come up at the same time. It's starting to shine a little bit more here for KRU, from Nagzet more specifically at the same time too. And now we'll see if KRU can continue a reign on the defender side, as Team Liquid seems to go back on another force buy. So they have a couple of Spectres, rifles, and an off from Yampi, who looks to dash away almost into a wall, but does not get punished more than just the armor taken away.
And once again, you know, KRU have a pretty good feel of the map here, getting that early B main control. Liquid going for those hits. You know, you're talking about them favoring set pieces on this A site. We're going to see one of those. Klaus getting some damage in before having to fall back. Link on backside with the use of the Omen ult TP. And once again, you know, Liquid are going to get the A site, but the question is, can they hold it? There is no lockdown here for Klaus, for KRU. And with Nagzet, indeed, on this flank, the amount of pressure on Liquid here is pretty huge. Oh, I love the move from Nagzet as well. Nagzet able to just rotate back around. Liquid have to worry about the flank.
Oh, yeah.
But he's able to reinforce this main push. And there it is, the swing onto the site. Beautiful stuff coming through here from KRU on this retake. Got to get all the kills, though. One player still left is Soulcast. He has the Hunter's Fury. Is he going to pop it? Oh, Mazina's just sticking it. He is just sticking it. No fear at all. Beautiful stuff. Soulcast is wondering what the hell just happened.
It was so close, too. I mean, he had the crosshair there. He just had the low bullets in the end and just runs out of bullets. Maybe needed one more shot to be able to take that diffuser down. But yes, indeed, they're trying to figure out what the hell is happening on that retake, because despite them losing the op of Yampi at A main, it still had so many bodies inside the site for the crossfire. But KRU, the way that they played it, excellent way to use Nagzet to dash into the site, Dan. So when you said that he fell back into Catwalk, he was a pivotal player to actually get into the site, create that space, and allow his teammates to come in right after, just behind, to just mow down TL on that retake. So very well done. Forces now Team Liquid on a half buy at this point. You have a hero buy from Soul. Well, actually, Soulcast saved that weapon from that previous round, so he's going to maintain that Vandal. The rest of them are still working behind that Vandal, though, with the Sheriff's Inspector.
Yeah, KRU changed their setup completely, but we'll go more into that in a second.
Yep.
Ooh, nasty shot from Scream. Nails Nagzet with that Sheriff. Klaus comes out to try to get these trade kills. BNJ stuck in a very dangerous position, and Team Liquid doing a lot of damage here. They're looking very good. Belzik has to deliver from backside from Boathouse. Yampi with the trade, though. Leaves it to Mazzino here for KRU to save the day. Rez coming in. That's huge. Can he defend, though? Scary stuff. Hunter's Fury comes in from B&J, and it's just one player left. Cryptics creeps up the side, straight into B&J's crosshair. KRU saved the day there. That was a close one, though.
Yeah, and even thanks to that, because of the res that came out, it kind of kept Team Liquid in a space of like, oh crap, should we plant? Should they try to go for a fight? They tried to go for the fight instead, and because you have also the Hunter's Fury ready, that just it cancels out the lockdown. It made that 2 versus 2 a little bit better there for KRU. In the end, though, like you said, Dan, forcing out the res was nice because you said it was pretty good. Why? Because Team Liquid, they're on a half buy there. So they forced out a lockdown, they got a couple of kills, they're forcing a lot of weapons being bought back for KRU Esports into this round. So this could potentially break the bank for KRU moving into the later rounds, maybe in 1 or 2 more rounds.
And here we go, just looking for that A main control here on Team Liquid this time, going quite heavy into this one.
Yeah.
And we've got Mazzino playing the A site. He's mostly been playing B so far, so this is a switch up. There goes the wall as well to slow things down, and it's very different looking round here from both teams. In goes Scream with the run it back, popped immediately. There's the dash into the cloudburst from Yampy, trying to get that forward position. And he goes down. That's a huge kill from KRU as they look to hold this site. In fact, they've completely deflected Liquid. They can't make their way through the choke point. And at this point, they've been completely routed. I don't know what's left for them to do on this A site.
Yeah, you got to save now, I think, at this point. A 4 versus 2. I mean, you still have 40 seconds. If you're able to punish KRU that wants to overextend, they could maybe turn the round over for Team Liquid. But with that, I don't think it's going to happen. You already see here Soulcast heading back towards the attacker spawn. Actually, with this shrouded step that comes back towards the A main, they could maybe meet up. But like you said, Dan, I feel that they read that perfectly for KRU Esports. This was a typical set play for Team Liquid. We've seen this before. It was the yellow drone coming out, fall behind it, have actually Yampy try to dash into the side at the same time, and that blaze wall that comes out from Scream. It's always going out towards that right side, so he can try to create like a little wall of surprise, a curveball he could throw, or just try to go for a dry peek from his blaze wall into Heaven side. And the position was just perfect for KRU to cancel all of that and nullify any type of, like, look at the X's. They didn't even cross past the entrance of the A site here for Team Liquid, so this was perfectly played.
Yeah, it looks really nice, but
wow, with a recon dart too. It was so good. It was so good for KRU.
Yeah, it's just winning those opening battles against the entry fraggers is just such an impactful moment for KRU, and also just like the fact that they had Mazzino playing A also. Switching up where Mazzino's playing with the Sage has been pretty cool. And Mazzino has been combining with Delzik in the early round to go for these slow orb plus dark cover combos. Pretty cheap combo to gain full control of either B main or A main. So that's what's been happening in many of these rounds. This is actually, these are one of the reasons, this might be one of the main reasons why KRU has had such a good read on Liquid's pace and the flow of the round, because they're getting that early control. But I don't think a single time it's been contested, really. So if that continues, KRU are certainly going to remain in the driving seat of this one.
And I mean, continue it that way for sure. I think they're starting to build that confidence at the same time too. And we've seen these matches where even typically you're watching as a fan for Valiant, you're like, okay, head-to-head region, Team Liquid versus KRU, Fnatic versus X10. Technically, it should be blowouts on paper, but everybody's being underestimated so far. So to see KRU just bounce back so well and so quickly into the beginning of the second half, or should I say second map, sorry, you want to continue to build up on that. And Team Liquid, I think at this point, I know we have a tactical timeout. They're trying to figure out what they want to do with this buy here, Dan, but there's been a lot of just forced buys every single time right now for Team Liquid, where I feel that we really didn't have a full buy, or I guess with the exception of the previous round where they got absolutely thrashed. But I feel that Team Liquid have to slow down a little bit with the economy, and I think this is a perfect way to call that pause from Sliggy, so they could actually calm down the nerves at the same time and just reset in terms of their strategy against KRU, and even the momentum, try to bring that back in their favor.
Indeed. There goes the drone. Next, there's forced back. Yampy, very quick forward position with that Blaze Storm. Mazzino again, wandering around the map. You don't ever know where he's going to be playing from if you're Liquid. That wall coming up in mid, slowing things down. And B&J, meantime, with that Odin pressuring B main instead. So that's another kind of difference to how this defense is evolving for KRU. And once again, Liquid going back to old faithful. It's that A-bomb site.
And again, I think this is read perfectly. The round that they went towards the B side, Klaus had his utility towards the B side as well. Now it's towards the A side, and I'm pretty sure Klaus is the IGL right now for KRU Esports, so he's doing a very good job at the same time to be able to read it out, and it's going to be Nagzet with the first kill onto Yampy as he was trying to dash into the site.
Such a huge kill to get, and look at how difficult it is now to get through onto the site. In fact, they can't really seem to do it. It's going to be with that wall from Phoenix, from Scream, to make it happen.
There it is.
There's the curveball through that wall, showing the value of Phoenix here. Nagzet repositioning. And this is difficult here for Liquid. They're fairly spread out. They may be isolated from one another here. Scream is on site with Link. Soulcast from A main has Hunter's Fury, so there's still actually a lot to play with here.
Yeah.
For Liquids. Very tense. Oh, Scream with that one way. At this point, it's looking quite difficult. B&J with no shock darts remaining. That would be absolute money if he had some of those. But they're going to give it up.
Mazino's still holding towards Catwalk, though. He's looking to make it expensive. He could get some on the exit. There's the first. And there's a second.
Nice.
They did their job. They did their job. So despite losing a round, to still continue to make expensive for TL. As we said, they had pretty much a half buy coming through. They're trying to chase down the last player at the same time. Because you've won so many rounds here on the defense, 4 crew in a row, the economy's still looking very good. So to chase this down, I'm all for that. But we mentioned it here, Dan, that Blaze Wall, not only from the curveball coming out from Scream, it also allows Link to just book through towards that site and get the plant where they need it to on this post-plant situation where it doesn't get really wall banged or not really wall bangable usually when you're trying to plant in that corner. But that curveball not only flashes towards the doorway, it also flashes towards heaven that allows Link to swing out at the same time too. So good communication for these two to enter the site. Absolutely
agreed. It has been really awesome seeing some of those coordinated movements, the pacing, the trade spacing. And once again, we're seeing Mazino with these walls in mid now. And here comes the pressure from Liquid to try to deal with that, forcing Mazino back and taking mid control away from KRU. Now, normally this would suggest a B split.
Correct.
We'll see if that is the name of the game, though, here for Team Liquid.
Well, with the amount of shots that you heard with the wall coming up, the Aldron spawning one towards B main, you're seeing a rotation coming out from KRU at the same time. 2 mid, 2 B, but the noise is starting to slow down here. You're starting to have KRU guessing again. You're going to have to try to wait for your recon dart to come out and try to get some information if it's going to be towards this B main inside, because B&J seems to be fully committed to hold this Odin towards this B site.
Area.
There you go.
That's a lot of info.
Very run it back again.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, this is a scary one. The time is going to be low here, so Liquid are not going to have too much time to error correct. Run it back goes down straight away, and they're calling a cancel. They're going to rotate back to A, but we still have Nagzet still in position on A main with the operator. This is a great angle. Oh, it's the perfect angle there for Nagzet. Nailing Link as well for 2 kills. Might be more here. They're going to feed straight into him. There's nothing else that they can do. Nagzet's done everything that's been required. Scream has no time. The round goes to KRU. 6-3 in favor of them, and this is a very different map of Valorant to the first map.
I'm all here for it, Dan. I'm loving it so far, but you could still see the amount of respect that KRU Esports has versus Team Liquid, because as Nagzet is landing these shots and their beautiful positioning shots, they still invested in Klaus's Killjoy ult just to try to make sure that they could secure the round. Thankfully, though, we have them dominating this defender side so far too. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see another Killjoy ult sword maybe by the end of the half. But this is beautifully done right now for KRU Esports. They read the run it back. This is twice that the run it back is available for Scream, and he gets stopped immediately into his tracks when he's trying to get into the site, where he cannot create the diversion. He cannot create the fake for them to get the full fake into the sites. Very well done.
Yeah, it's a really good point. You know, I hadn't really thought about that too much. The Scream is not getting value in terms of creating space from that run it back. And in this half-buy situation that we're in right now, it's a few Sheriffs and this saved weapon from Scream. The KRU are looking pretty good. Taking down Soulcast, so there's less numbers to worry about. Usually numbers is really where the strength is in rounds like this. The team that has less equipment. Nagzet could be in a... Actually, no, he's got assistance on the side.
Yeah.
There it is. Klaus is at assistance. Oh, Cryptus will take him down. So some damage is being done here as Liquid pile into the side. It's looking a little bit scary here for Nagzed because Scream is... He's got the rifle. Great timing there from Nagzed. Really looking comfortable here. Oh, beautiful premium jet stuff from Nagzed.
And you just see how he doesn't care, like the game sets for Nagzed so far under a high-pressure matchup. Because think about it, chat fans, this is still an elimination game. So the pressure is high right now for both of these teams. And for Nagzed to just know that Link's coming behind him, but he's like, you know what? I'm going to focus on this 1v1 because I know Scream is going to try to swing out from the shadows. And then he positions himself for a perfect kill onto Link right after like that. It's just really nice to watch. Like, look at how they're cheering each other up at the same time too. That confidence is definitely reigning in here for KRU Esports.
Yeah, it's huge. Liquid do look very stuck at the moment, that's for sure in this half. Maybe the next half will be different. We'll see if they can get themselves a couple extra rounds here. Nagzed moving around will be on the B main peak, able to deal with the drone.
Twice he does that.
It's good to see that not only has Mazino with the Sage and the utility that's offered up with Sage been moving around in these defensive setups round to round, also, of course, with the Operator, Nagzed gets to do the same thing. So there's a lot to worry about for Liquid, and they're going to just explode onto the B site by the looks of things. And Nagzed's repositioned here again if they contact into this. Oh, they're going to use the Paranoia, of course, and there's the punish.
Huge.
With Yappy with the dash, but the trade straight back in there from Klaus. 1 for 1, and it looks like Liquid, once again, might be stuck in this choke point. Oh, God, the Odin is looking very dangerous here from B&J. The spray is wild there, commits all the way. You got to respect it, but it's not going to work out for KRU. Oh, my goodness.
He was a little surprised once the dark cover dissipated, and it's like, oh, I just realized I'm a little bit off here on my frag or on my spray with the Odin. He got punished with that for sure. And I was going to say, Scream, after getting that kill, it looks like he wasn't getting enough value off the run it back, but you could already see that off that kill, he already built another run it back after picking up the orb. So I think he's still doing a very good job being able to get a couple of support kills, entry kills, but still trying to create that space when I run it back. That's where it's not necessarily lacking. You have to commend KRU of how good they've been positioning and reading out how it's being played for Team Liquid. With this last round to go, though, Yampy, maybe he's going to pick up this Blade Storm. He will. And the 5 players, we're looking for another potential set piece towards this A side, as they have a lot of ultimates to work with for the attack here of Team Liquid.
Yeah, they're really going for this just contact burst style and keeping things simple here. There goes the drone, the wall as well. The run it back is popped as well.
Cancelled right away.
Back is gone again immediately, but there goes Yampy now with the Blaze Storm. Oh, he's going to whip that one. Klaus with the punish. Scream trading things through, and it's looking pretty crazy right now. KRU, though, looking pretty good on this. Still, the spike has to be planted here for Link, and beautiful fragging there from Link. Oh my goodness, from strength to strength. And Team Liquid, you know, this was looking like a pretty dire half. They actually managed to cobble together the last couple rounds, making it a 5-7 finish. That's not bad at all.
Definitely not bad, especially now that they have the advantage of taking to the defender side too. I know it's starting to get a little bit more even, depending on the playstyle too, right? You really have to think about playstyle and compositions that sees a little bit more attacker, maybe attacker-sided rounds or defender-sided halves. But at this point, I think for TL, they're definitely comfortable here playing the defender side of this map, of this very own map pick, and to be able to scrape those last 2 rounds, and also to make it 5-7 overall, I think you come out pretty happy with the first half. It looked pretty dire. It didn't look like they were able to do much here with Scream's entries, but following that, it still has been pretty good for Team Liquid when they actually make it into the site for these pulse plants.
Into the pistol we go, and Liquid with a similar approach and just holding onto the tree position on their defense right now, and they have 2 players forward and B main also, so just mostly giving up space towards mid, which is where KRU actually are.
Raid boss again from Yampy. So Frenzy, small shields, doubling up with potential curveball from Scream.
And here come the trades into the sights. Oh, it's looking good for KRU. 3 kills straight away for them. Spike planted as well. This will be tough for Soulcast and Link, although 3 players are quite weak for KRU. might as well give it a go on the pistol.
Here.
Revealing area.
There goes that recon for Soulcast. Immediately dealt with. And it's looking quite difficult here. You know, Soulcast, you can see he's worried about that push from A main. There's so many things to worry about. They're going to try to clear one position at a time together. And BNJ is doing exactly the correct move. It's making them run as far as possible. And now maybe... Oh, okay. BNJ's actually going to get a kill out of that. Surely not both of them. Indeed, Link's going to take him out.
And I'm okay with, okay, this is smart, because I was just saying, you don't have to chase him down. Right now, you could potentially give more money, more orbs for Link. At the same time, just let him die with the spike, just so that you don't give him the opportunity of getting from the shadows for information a lot faster here on the defender side. But this was actually a very nice run by the attacker side of KRU Esports into the site, because you see it, they crept up slowly towards this mid side. I would assume that they poked and dropped the Owl Drone from Soulcast quite early into the round to allow for them to surprise the two defenders inside B main by rushing into the market after the wall. So KRU playing it slowly into this into that round to eventually burst into the site has caught TL by surprise.
Oh, hello. Klaus wins the battle there in B main. That's a huge early victory.
Yeah. On another force buy, mind you here, Dan.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting here to see how Liquid want to try and deal with the situation. You can see them rotating Cryptics on the Killjoy across 2A. So they're stacking more towards the A side of the map here. Completely giving up B. Yampy, very strong defense possible here on Catwalk with this judge. And it looks like KRU are going to be moving straight into this.
Caution here.
At least I think it's all going to be towards A main. I think understanding that it's dangerous, that they could potentially play against shotguns into this round, especially after they won that 1v1 in the beginning of the round, and seeing that there was a Spectre invested, going all into A main is so smart.
Nags there straight on top of Jen. Love to see it. Team Liquid struggling here to get the kills that they want. In fact, everybody's still standing for KRU at the moment. Yampy with the judge.
Spike planted.
Well, absolutely denied by that door.
And there you go. You're forced to try to retake with a judge at long range, or you have to dash into the site to make things expensive. You've invested a lot into this round, and he's even invested into small shields. So for Yampy, if he could try to come out of it unscathed, it would be nice. But he's just going to die. A flawless from Prime Gaming.
Yeah, fantastic round from KRU. As you say, you know, they did a good job in actually resetting into that A main push. That was a good call. It is really scary because, you know, they cut noise and they lost a lot of information to do it. So, you know, it's really hard to say, you know, what Liquid's actually doing with their weapons. But they managed to avoid all of the dangers, and they're 9-5 right now. That's awesome to see. KRU looking good.
100%.
And we get the half buy from Team Liquids. Cryptics on the Nova. The Nova? Oh dear.
Listen, I said counter at the same point too, Dan. I think we're just rubbing off each other at this point. So yeah, the Bucky coming out from Cryptics. I mean, it's not too bad. You're buying the Bucky right now. You don't have any shields. You should be okay to buy into the next round too. But look at this. Just a random spray through the dark cover, and it catches Yampy down at 34 HP. So you're just expecting these type of slow pushes, knowing that you're going to be on these low buys on Team Liquid, that you might try to play a little more aggressively, trying to catch your opponents off guard, and they're just, again, it's the reading rainbow. It's a pop-up book right now for KRU Esports on this map.
Yeah, and I would always be, I think the advice that I think is always valuable in spots like this for KRU is like, you know, what is the scenario in which we give up our lead? You know, really is allowing there to be kills early on from Team Liquids with these Sheriffs. But nothing's really been given by KRU. They haven't overpeaked anything. They've been keeping the Sheriffs. I think the Sheriffs have fired a shot. That's a good sign that KRU are doing what they need to be doing here. Now they're trying to just barrel into the B side altogether. Really smart moves there. Don't spread out. Don't split up. Cryptics there at the back with the Bucky. Able to find one. Gets a lot of damage, but just the one kill. Spike goes down, and that spells trouble here for Liquids.
Scanning ahead.
It's going to be hard to retake with these Sheriffs.
Yeah, and they're all turned up and inside the site as well. And this, I'm okay with it as well if Liquid wants to let them die and go for exits. But for KRU, I don't mind them dying too because it's a bonus round for them.
Uh-oh, the paranoia comes through. Oh, the hot hands as well. BNJ able to
Oh!
that, but the headshots coming through from the Sheriffs. Oh my god. The timing on that one from Liquid was incredible.
They're definitely gonna... yeah, sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say, it seemed like they each selected a different target and each landed the first bullet all at the same time.
And that's exactly what I was going to say, because the timing of usually when you shoot a Sheriff, it's pop, pop, pop. And you look at this, it's going to be pop, pop, pop on 3 different names and 3 different kills. Exactly the right timing of landing 1 Sheriff shots every single time.
Oh
the
God.
1 taps coming out from Link Yampi. That was just so clean right there for Team Liquid. And they actually managed to secure the round. On top of that, that's a heartbreaker round for KRU Esports.
Oh, it felt like they did so many things right there. You just can't account for those kinds of rounds. You just got to hold your hands up and you just got to take those sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's what it is. Get straight back on the horse. And right now, KRU moving pretty fast, actually, up middle.
Yeah. And the buy's still low, though, for Liquid, despite them winning that on Sheriffs only, right? So you see how much was invested into that second round for the defender side.
And the spike did go down at least, so that's some extra cash that went the way of KRU. And I love the fast pace into just cut noise. They took that early space in mid. They dealt with some utility. They also convinced Liquid to use some additional utility, and now they just hold.
Look how spread out they are, Dan. They have actually some pretty good positioning for Team Liquid. Yampi in the entrance right now could dash away if he misses. They have Link inside 1 if you're looking at that mini-map. They're in good positions to catch KRU off guard, and that's a great way to start things off to push them back.
Straight into a fast maneuver through Catwalk towards the A side. Liquid do have players here. That's a fantastic paranoia getting sent through by Link. That's going to slow things down. The hot hands as well to make matters worse. And then an eyesore. There's just so much delay coming through here against KRU, and they don't have time for this. Making their way up through the window to try to find a way onto the site, trying to clear some kind of a path. The curveballs come in. It seems like Liquid have so much utility here. 10 seconds to plant the spike. Time is a problem right now. KRU are still trying to get their way onto the site. Soulcast denies the spike plant. A second kill.
My God.
Every kill there from Liquid right at the end.
And that's where, Dan, it shows where it's a series of unfortunate events, because that slow orb that was thrown and that slowed them down was actually from their own teammate. Because they thought a push was going to come in from Garden, they had everything set up to get into the doorway, into the A site. But now, time is of the essence. Time is against you. A hot hands gets thrown on the ground. A paranoia came also from A main. They're like, oh crap, it's a crossfire set up into the A site. Can we go through heaven? No, unfortunately we can't, because we slowed ourselves down. We also allowed for TL to actually get the rotate over from the spawn side in from B. And this is a crucial timeout right now that is definitely needed for KRU Esports, just due to the fact that on 2 consecutive rounds, where it was 2 lower buys in terms of the economy for Team Liquid, and they still converted into round wins. And you're catching up right now on your defender side for Team Liquid, taking the, like I said, the easier side right now for Team Liquid's map. KRU needs to figure something out right now.
Yeah, they definitely do. And, Liquid, at the same time, I'm curious, if they're going to try to mix things up here, because oftentimes when you expect a team, taking a tactical, you're thinking, okay, they're going to change something. You can decide to go really aggressive just to really just take the initiative. So if they had a plan, you kind of just blow it up right from the get-go. Yeah. And that's something that we actually saw Liquid doing on Split. They did that with an A main aggression later into that one after a tactical from KRU. So maybe they'll do that same thing again. We'll have to see. And Sliggy looks kind of like the evil Sliggy, like a Sith Lord version of Sliggy in a black mask. It's just... I
was gonna say, did he dye his hair black too, going into this event? I mean, he's straight up looking like a snack right now for this event. Big shout out to Sliggy. This round of the timeout comes back, right? So we're about to resume the round number 17. I feel that right now, trying to get control towards A main and try to give this orb from Azino is already going to be a great start, so that he could potentially have a res into the next round when they have the ultimates to work with. So try to waste out the utility, try to pull them back right now for Team Liquid to turtle back into the site, get this orb, and then figure out what you want to do. And actually, it's invested into, screw it, let's just go with the Hunter's Fury and Bladestorm and immediately go and take the offensive right away off this timeout.
Oh my god. Scream very confident there. Nag Zet is missing those knives, unfortunately. That right click, that's what he needed to land. And that's the most dangerous player out of the round, effectively.
Yep. Just off straight utility, right? It was a Bladestorm that was there, and whoop, okay. The Frenzy's gonna help a bit.
Oh wow, he actually dinked up Link as well. But yes, it is just a save round here from KRU, so not too much going their way. Quick 180 there. And there we go. 8-9 as Liquids start to close the gap on the scoreboards. And this is what the tactical really was for, this next buy round.
Correct. I think it's, let's try to figure out what investment we can use right now. I'm not opposed to the Bladestorm into the Hunter's Fury just to try to take control of Tree and see if the Bladestorm could actually amount to a round victory here for KRU Esports. But a right click, it didn't connect onto screen. But you're looking at this round right now, we're still 2 away from getting an ult for Soulcaz, which will be a perfect moment for Klaus to actually use his lockdown and enable KRU to get into his site. With a From the Shadows, this is a perfect play for a B-side take.
Good tag coming through from B&J there. That's going to secure the orb pickup. That's an ult now for Mazzino. He needed that 1 point. Now there is the Resurrect online as well. KRU lots of presence towards A so far. Definitely suggesting to Liquid that there's something going on there. Liquid actually might be going for a play here. Yeah, they've got the drone. They are just retaking the A main position. Great maneuver. This is going to have Liquid an advantage on information now. They're going to know exactly what's going on.
They could even start rotating back right away. You could see it right now. They want to make sure they get that res so that once it gets bloody into the site for KRU, they could res up at the same time. But that's lockdown's going to come. You're going to have to From the Shadows at the same time too. But they have really good utility to start delaying right off the get-go and then have the rotate come right out for Team Liquid.
Waiting patiently here for go time. That lockdown expires. Now Liquid trying to see if they can slow this one down into the site. Huge flank coming through as well from Yampy through to B main. There is a turret that's been smoked there, so now it's all onto Liquid, trying to coordinate their efforts there. They've got a few points of attack. Market, Spawn, and soon to be B main as well.
Scream. It's got to be off Scream. Once they get positioning, I wouldn't be surprised if a run it back comes out at the same time too. There you go.
There it is. You called it, and are they able to trade off of that? Looks like they will. 2 kills going the way of Liquid. Mazzino able to trade 1 back, though, as will B&J, so it's pretty even here. The spike still ticking away. Yappy finally activated in B main as he tries to swing on through, and it's up to Mazzino now. Swinging across. Yappy's there, and Yappy will take him down, and there's just enough time to get this defuse in. Oh, it's so close, though. Oh, so close. Liquid secure it, and they tie up the score 9-9. And again, if you are just joining us here, this lower bracket match, KRU are fighting for their tournament life. They lost the first map. They got absolutely crushed on split by Liquid. And they are showing a great game here so far, but it is starting to look like Liquid are beginning to take over.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like, they invested it into grabbing the orb here for the res for the attackers on a KRU Esports, and in a 2 versus 1, Mazzino wasn't in a position where he could actually assist for maybe a bait res, something towards the back of the site, right? Because they had time in their favor. Die with the spike, it doesn't matter. Get the round. This is what you want here for KRU Esports, and also not having to From the Shadows invested in the back of the site. That could have been something very good to allow Delzeek to take early map control. But let's cross that out. It's going to be KRU Esports looking to explode into the A site.
Oh, they're going straight from the dark cover. S going to connect the screen. Beautiful stuff here. Link, though, takes down Nagzed. Amazing stuff here so far from Liquid, deflecting this attack. Scream is tapping their heads. That's what he does. That's who he is. And that's Liquid with the 10th round now on the board as they deflect that contact through that smoke. I love the mix-up from KRU, but Liquid was somehow so ready for it.
Yeah, I think now the story falls back in the hands of Team Liquid. As much as I wanted to commend KRU Esports of how they were so good at reading Team Liquid on the attack, this was perfect for the same thing for Team Liquid in the end. To have that 2 players set up towards that A site, a perfect crossfire. I know they were able to hit Scream towards that backup generator, and while he's affected by that paranoia, to have Link get the first few kills, have the opponents focus on Link after on the kill, and then Scream comes out right after when he's not blinded. This is just some nice back and forth in terms of supporting teammates into the A site here for Team Liquid. So now they regain the lead off this half, off this series at the same time. And KRU, at least they have, again, the res and a full buy into this round because they're at the max bonus.
And you can see the mix-up of positioning here. Scream hanging on. Oh my god, Klaus!
Okay.
Fantastic shooting from him. Definitely not an easy frag to get. And against Scream, of course. And that's an early win here for KRU. The lockdown there to deny any fast push. So that's a huge win from KRU. Not only getting the kill, but also forcing out the lockdown.
That's right. And you're hiding away from the Owl drone, and now they have no information from Team Liquid. So with 1 player behind, somebody's going to have to force a hand. It's going to have to be potentially Yappy peeking out on this catwalk or playing it close. If not, it's just going to be very hard for the defenders to hold and even to retake after that. And it seems to be the latter. They're going to force the hand right now for the attackers into the site, but these nano swarms are going to be huge!
Oh no, Team Liquid doing a fantastic job to deny this one. Klaus is on another level though, takes down Cryptix, giving just enough space for Delzik to win the fight against Soulcast for the spike plant. 2 versus 2 as Yampy and Link come in to try to retake this one. Yampy's going to go down. Klaus again is having such an incredible game. What a display of skill so far. Link with the next challenge here, but against 2 players. Looking for the trade. He's baits it out. Link!
My God.
That's incredible there from Link! Liquid again picking up another round. I cannot believe that Link just did that.
So many praise this man because he's been one of those key players as well for Team Liquid, looking through the qualifiers to help TL qualify into the Masters 2. The Red Bull clutch coming on his side. The Red Bull clutch is that he's done, and he continues to demonstrate that in this event. And like I said, it was going to be a very impossible or a much harder task for this retake to happen for Team Liquid, just due to the fact that they're not forcing the hand and not trying to regain map control for the defender side to know exactly where the hit is coming from. So as KRU Esports are running their pistol round on a 5 versus 2 inside the site, it still comes down to like great and better positioning for the pulse plant for the attacker side, and Link just did a great job to negate a 2 versus 1 swing and take the advantage off 2 individual 1 versus 1s.
Yeah, early presence and control from Liquid here on A main, and they now feel the presence towards Catwalk. Yampy, though, is in a great position. There is definitely a world here where he does not get flash or anything, gets just a straight-up peek from an opponent, and that would be a decisive moment. Yampy looking for something here. Oh my god! Access ready for it.
Twice he does that.
Absolutely ready for it. And look at Scream go. Run it back straight through Gelato into top mid to get that information. And KRU, they are long gone.
Yep,
They are
no
long
choice.
gone. And here goes Cryptix, able to find the spike. The second kill comes his way. That's not a bad result. Oof, Soulcast.
Ooh.
Able to find that one. That's a huge, huge pickup.
Yeah, and that's spiked down at the same time, too. They have still the Killjoy utility on the B side. This is such a great hold for Team Liquid.
Beautiful finish there from Soulcast. That is it. Game point now for Team Liquid. Another round where it really looked like KRU had done a lot right. But it's just that extra kill that Cryptix got. And then obviously losing the spike in a position such as Market. Just these small edges that Liquid are winning are really making all the difference.
And they're running back, too, to force the hand and let Team Liquid know, let's get ready. The hit's going to come towards this B site. When also you're not ready for KRU Esports for a run it back, then you kind of just want to run away from that one too. So it's nice that Scream just off that funneled everybody back towards a heavy defense, and that starts things off very well to win the series for Team Liquid.
Instant res coming through though for KRU. That does at least even things up, and strangely that does give advantage to KRU. But Link, if he finds the timing on this peak and gets a kill and gets away with it, that would be an enormous problem for KRU.
Yeah.
Will they be cognizant of this angle from Link? Trying to play an off angle here, trying to be unexpected with his peak. And just Link seeing nothing also tells Liquid a huge amount as to what KRU are doing.
And you're just walking back potentially to a heavy nanoswarm setup off the sidewalk from Triptychs. This has been a thorn on the side of KRU Esports. Whenever they're hitting towards this B side, you don't see them dashing, or, well, they can't dash right now as Nagz's dead. But with them trying to get across towards the switch onto the staircase, just going through the sidewalk has been damaging for them so far.